In America, we don't turn to government to restore ourselves. We put our faith in Almighty God. You voted to make America great again. We are making America greater than ever before. It is happening before your eyes. We will rekindle new faith in our values, new pride in our history, and a new spirit of unity that can only be realized through love for our great country. The American people voted to reject this corrupt globalism. This is the most important election in the history of our country. And yet, despite all of our greatness as a nation, everything we have achieved is now in danger. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. And when I'm reelected, the best is yet to come.
From America, you're listening to the Hip Hop Patriot, Jeremy Herrell.
Welcome to Live from America, ladies and gentlemen. It is Hump Day. It is Wednesday. That means that we are halfway through this wonderful week, this wonderful gift that God gives us every single day. When that sun comes up outside, it is a present. We are in the present. And it is a present. Thank you very much for giving me your first hour of the day. So many of you are dedicated, so dedicated, that you don't ever miss a show. I couldn't tell you the amount of emails, messages, phone calls, whatever it is that I get where people say, I never miss a show. And even if I do miss it, I go back and watch it. That is dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, it is April 7th, year of our Lord, 2021. I am your ever so humble, God-fearing, but God-loving, super God-loving host, Jeremy Herrell, the hip-hop patriot, and I have one heck of a show lined up for you today. We're going to be talking about how the walls are closing in on the Democrats. They are closing in when it comes to COVID. They're closing in when it comes to the election and the fraud that happened. They're closing in on all the bills that they're trying to illegally pass, every decision that they're trying to make. The walls are closing in, and it only took a matter of, a few months? That's because they are so radical and they are so far left that the world is starting to wake up and see through their lies, and they're starting to see the forest for the trees, and it's all because of people like you. It's all because of driven, patriotic, action item people like you who do not take what they say as the end all be all, and you push and you fight, and nothing can be more. Nothing makes me more happy than to see that, because what we're doing is starting to pay off. And I told you, as long as we stand up, nobody can knock us down, especially when we're wearing the armor of God. So we got a great show lined up for you today. For those who are watching on the website right now and on YouTube Live, I want to thank you so much for being able to fit the first hour, especially right smack dab in the middle of the morning, depending on where you are. I just want to thank you so much for watching live. And all those who are listening on the podcast and who watch later, thank you too. Just because you're not watching live doesn't mean that you don't want to. It means that you just can't, and you got to watch it later. And more of you watch this show later than you do live, and I want to thank you all for that as well. Make sure that you like the video and do your part to share this conservative voice. Let's give some live shout outs to those who are watching on YouTube and the website right now. That's Matthew Chance. He says, what up, bro? What up to you, man? Good to have you here. Thank you so very much. We have I Am Not Joel King, says Joel King from Monroe, Washington. Would love a shout out, please. Well, there you go, brother. There's your shout out. I hope you heard that, and I hope you have a wonderful day. We have Julie Sims, a fellow New Hampshireite, right here in my home state, the live free or die state of New Hampshire. Thank you very much. Krista Devins says, shout out, Jeremy, from New York. We got Edward watching from South Carolina. Jessica Sump is watching from the Sunshine State of Florida. Kim Martin is watching from Kentucky. She says, Kentucky's watching. Me and my family will be in Kentucky in June, going to the Ark and the Creation Museum. I will be doing a documentary everywhere I stop of real America, getting real America's voice on camera, and I can't wait to do that. Natasha Garrison from Oregon, thank you very much. Tammy Lietzel from Pennsylvania, she says, May 18th vote. Yes, to get rid of the lockdowns, we need your vote. Definitely. Thank you very much, Tammy, for reminding those in Pennsylvania about that. We got Gina. She says, hello, Jeremy from Colorado. Shout me out, please. It is my 47th birthday. You mean 27th. That's what you really meant, right? It's not your 47th. It's your 27th birthday. Happy birthday to you, Gina. I hope God blesses you with such a great birthday. And you know what? Just the fact that you got breath in your lungs and you can say that it's your birthday, that's present enough from our almighty God, Father in heaven. Roxanne Kimes is watching from, she doesn't say where she's watching from, but I appreciate her watching. And let's give one more shout out to Jamie Shire, watching from the Cheesehead state of Wisconsin. And I used to vacation up in the Wisconsin Dells when I was a young lad. Thank you very much for watching. I'd like to give a couple special shout outs here. First of all, Sean Wortham, I saw your comment yesterday where you need a kid's Bible. Well, it just so happens that I do have a first read and learn Bible for children. And if you just email me, then I will make sure that I get you. Email me your address, say Kids Bible, and I'll get you that to Sean Wortham. Also, I'd like to thank Paul Kmark. Now, Paul Kmark has sent some gifts before, but these gifts are really fun. He sent me, of course, a Donald Trump pen that makes all kinds of statements and remarks that only Donald Trump can make. He sent me this, well, he sent me a button that just fell down and is about 10 feet from me now that plays a whole bunch of funny things. Like it says, I like to build walls, but you like to you like to break them down for me, or something like that, and a bunch of other funny things. So thank you, Paul Kmark. He also sent me this. It's got the Pledge of Allegiance on it, and I can never have enough American memorabilia and stuff to put on my walls here, which I'm going to show you guys on Thursday or Friday. I'm going to show you an actual special video of the studio, since you guys have not been able to see the whole thing yet. Okay, so thank you, Paul Kmark, for that. And he also sent me this sent me a whole box of stuff, but check this out. This is like a burlap thing to hang up. It says faith, family, and freedom. Nice, thick, crafted burlap sign there to hang up in the studio. And he sent me this wonderful Keep America Great ballpoint pen. And it says Keep America Great on there. So Paul Kmark, thank you so very much. And one more person that I would like to thank, and actually I don't even know who the person is, but it's a company. And how ironic this is that this happened this morning. So I open up a box. There's tons of boxes that I have to still open. And I open up a box this morning and I see like a 12, like a case of what looked like to be soda, or if you're from the Midwest, pop. I used to call that pop when I was younger, coming from Illinois. But it's actually not. It's an energy drink, and it's called Winning Energy, W-E, and it shows President Trump on the front with a bald eagle, an American flag, and a superhero uniform on, and it shows a bunch of Democrats. I see Maxine Waters, I see Jerry Nadler, I see Stretchface Armstrong, I see Pencil Neck Adam Schiff, I see Chuckles Schumer, and I don't know who the other person is, but they're all running, and it says 12 ounces of liberal tears. Check that out. Energy drink. And it came from Florida. And here's the ironic thing about this, and I really love this, by the way. The ironic thing is I turned on Steve Bannon's War Room show this morning, and Steve Bannon had the same can up on his mantle behind him. So that must mean that this energy company is an up-and-coming energy company, and they are reaching out to people who they watch, who has the same kind of thought process as they do. And I just want to I want to shout them out. Thank you very much, and I'll get a hold of you and we'll talk, because this is pretty amazing, and I'd like to have more of this. So thank you so very much. Winning energy. How great is that? What a great idea, huh? I'd also like to give a happy birthday, another happy birthday to Heather Evans. Okay, happy birthday to you, Heather. And for the both of you who have birthdays, actually for everybody who has birthdays, join with me. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, all you patriots. Happy birthday to you. I hope you guys have wonderful, wonderful birthdays. And I'd like to give a big shout out to the best wedding DJ out there. DJ period, not just wedding DJ, but DJ period. DJ Vince 1. If you're looking for a great wedding DJ, a great 20-year friend of mine, check him out on Instagram at DJ Vince and the number 1. Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to honoring God, because without God, we are nothing. Without his grace, we have nothing. And without his gospel, we are not united. This morning, I did one of those things where I prayed and I said, God, I'm going to open this Bible today. And wherever I open this Bible, I want you to show me the message that I am supposed to give to everyone today. Sometimes I just do that. I just go off faith alone. Okay? I opened the Bible, and the first thing I saw was the book of Job. I opened right up to Job 1. And then I started reading a conversation that God was having with Satan. It was incredible. It was like 3 paragraphs of God and Satan having a conversation. And the conversation was God tempting Satan. Not Satan tempting all of us, but God tempting Satan. And you might say, well, how did he do that? Well, I'm going to read it to you. Verse of the day today comes from Job 1, 7 and 8. And it said, And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down it. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, on that feareth God, and escheweth evil. Now, what does that mean? What is the Lord doing here? What exactly is he doing here when he's talking to Satan? Well, he's tempting Satan, just like Satan tempts all of us. He knows that Job will not succumb to evil. He knows how faithful Job is, and he is daring the devil to tempt him into doing something wrong. Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Well, to show him how righteous man can be in the presence of the Lord. To show him the full armor of God. Once you have that on, once you put that armor of God on, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, not even the full power of Satan himself. Think about that. Think about how powerful Satan is. But here's an old saying, guys. Satan only has as much power as you give him. Period. Satan only has as much power as you give him. And God knew Satan would lose. It's incredible. It is incredible. We live our whole lives being tempted by Satan. So let's strap on our armor of God and return the favor. Let's tempt the devil to tire himself out, basically punching himself till he has no more energy. Let's tempt Satan to tire himself out by tempting us, just so we can shove it back in his face like an unwanted piece of trash, kind of like Gladbag Hillary, that we are throwing in the garbage. Once we are close enough to God to do that, nothing can ever take us away from our Father, ever again. Can I get an amen on that one or what? And thank you, God, for letting me open the Bible up just to that specific verse. Because we read all the time we read about Satan tempting us. But ladies and gentlemen, we can tempt him right back and say, try it. Try to sway us away from God. Try to sway us away from Jesus. Because there's nothing better in the world than being able to resist, as Jesus did for 40 days and 40 nights. Resist the temptation of the devil. Throw it back into his face. Because once you go through that journey, once you go through that fight, that 12-round battle, Nothing in the world can ever slow you down or stop you again. Woo! And you know what? What a perfect segue right into the Lord's Prayer. So if you're with me, ladies and gentlemen, let's say the Lord's Prayer together. Let's say it out loud so God can hear it. And if you can't, for whatever reason, then say it inside for the Spirit to hear it. Are you ready? Let's do this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Woo-hoo-hoo. I tell you what, man, after last night's debacle of a show, when I was all messed up trying to figure out some kind of electronic difficulty, I laid there all night last night and I said, boy, tomorrow I'm going to come out on fire. I'm going to make up for last night's show. So do me the quick favor, like the video, share the video, and let's get going with the first and foremost section of today. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 91st, 91. I had the count wrong yesterday. It's actually 91 days. The 91st day of military occupation on our nation's soil in our nation's capital that we pay for, and the 385th day of 15 days to slow the spread. 15 days to slow the spread. Here we go. First and foremost, on September 18th, 2020, what was that, about 6 months ago or so? On September 18th, 2020, the Washington Post, the failed Washington Post, put out a story bashing President Trump, because that's what they always like to do. That's what they always did. That's what they'll always do. Put out a story bashing President Trump, and it said this. They were bashing him because he said, quote, every American will get the CCP vaccine by April. That's what President Trump said in September of 2020. That's how sure he was of Operation Warp Speed. On September 18th, the Washington Post put out the story bashing him. And they said he was lying and that there was no evidence to support that claim. That A, he would have a vaccine, and B, that everybody would get it by April. They said he was lying. They said there was no evidence to support that. And they said it was more false hope from President Donald J. Trump. But guess what happened? Yesterday, Resident Corn Pop himself came out and said that every American adult will have access to the CCPV by the end of April. Ladies and gentlemen, another win by Donald J. Trump, whether you agree with him or not, whether you agree with the CCPV or not, because I'm not getting it, but I don't fault anybody for getting it. It's kind of like the whole mask thing. I don't care if you wear one, and I don't care if you get the shot. I'm not trying to sway you from either one of them. I lay facts out there, and I lay my opinion out there. Okay? My opinion is I'm never taking it. My opinion is I don't want to wear masks, period. So I don't. I just don't. All right? Thank you, Amanda Mutos. I appreciate that. So what's happening here is the same thing that's happening at the southern border. It's the same thing that's happening everywhere. They're trying to take credit for what Donald Trump did that was good, like building the wall. Okay? They're trying to first create a crisis so that they can say, look what we inherited, and then revert back to President Donald J. Trump's policies or the things that he did to say, look, we saved the world. But don't be mistaken, ladies and gentlemen. I found it. On September 18th, 2020, Washington Post said that he was lying when he said that every American will have access to the vaccine by April. Joe Biden just came out yesterday and said the same exact thing. So another win for President Trump, and do not let the Biden residency try to take credit for the Trump presidency. Don't ever let people forget that, okay? So that's how I wanted to start the show today, and I think that was a good way to start it, because this whole show today is talking about how the walls are closing in on the left. They're closing in on Anthony Fauci, rat mouth himself, Master Splinter. They're closing in on him. They're closing in on the narrative. They're closing in on the election fraud. They're closing in on the CCPV. They're closing in on everything that they've done wrong. The walls are closing in ever so fast, and I am so excited to see it. I'm so excited to see it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's first Let's give our very first Dum Dum Award of the day today, and it's going to go to another failed Democrat. Okay? Failed Cincinnati Democrat mayoral candidate charged with COVID fraud. Another Democrat, another dum-dum. Another Democrat, another swamp donkey dum-dum that gets another dum-dum award of the day. I'm going to bring this up so we can read it together, ladies and gentlemen, so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Here we go. Here she is. Her name is Kelly Prather. She's a failed Democrat mayoral candidate. And as you can see, she wanted votes on May 4th, 2021. So she could be the mayor of Cincinnati. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's read it together. It says, another day, another crooked Democrat. Failed Cincinnati Democrat mayoral candidate Kelly Prather on Tuesday, which was yesterday, was charged in a COVID-19 fraud case and faces more than 30 years in prison. Prather defrauded the Payment Protection Program, the PPP, by applying for loans for 6 different businesses that she claims that she owned. Enhanced Healthcare Solutions, Life Skills Enhancement, Prather Property Management, Reliable Ambulance Services, Rich Glow Management Services, and Tots R Us. Federal prosecutors said that Prather asked for $600,000, but only received $19,800. According to court documents, Prather spent $8,000 on personal items and eating out at restaurants and gave another $8,000 to a boyfriend. The FBI got tipped off by Fifth Third Bank after they found discrepancies in Prather's loan applications. Though through research, the FBI found that none of Prather's businesses were even operational. They weren't even operational. All 6 businesses. They weren't even operational. They weren't even real businesses, ladies and gentlemen. 3 Cincinnati women, including former mayoral hopeful Kelly Prather, received hundreds of thousands of dollars from federal pandemic relief funds after lying in their applications, according to federal prosecutors. Okay? Prather, 48, Tony Wright, 34, and Melissa McGee, 37, each stand charged with bank fraud in connection to their loan applications and could be sentenced to over 30 years in prison. Prather applied for 6 Paycheck Protection Program loans, one of each of the 6 businesses she claimed to own, except, we just read, none of them were even operational. Prather was hit with 5 counts: making false statements to a federal agency, aggravated identity theft, bank fraud, unauthorized disclosure of social security number, and making false statements in a loan and credit applications, the Cincinnati Enquirer reported. And there is the legal and full court documents right there for you all to see with your own eyeballs. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what these dirty Democrats do. That is what these swamp donkey Democrats do. And I'm going to tell you one thing right now. The entire reason for the CCPV being released on the world was for things like this: to bail out people, to bail out failed cities, failed left-run, Democrat-run cities, to increase mail-in voting, to change election rules without the authorization of state legislatures and all of the swing states. Guys, it's not hard to figure out. You follow the money and you find the culprits. You follow the money and you find the criminals. And the walls are closing in on the left, on the Democrats, on the whole narrative, on the CCPV, on the PPP, on the PPEP loans, on the LGBTQ, A, B, C, D, X, Y, and Z, all the alphabets. Everybody is going to pay for the lies that they have orchestrated and then implemented into our society in order to further enrich themselves of either money or power. Boom! Another Democrat goes down the drain, lying to you, the American people. Now, I've been looking all night for a really good sound to play when we give a smarty. Because usually when we give a dum-dum, we like to follow it up with a smarty. Okay? And I thought, I thought of, cash registers, cha-ching, 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 things like that. And I was like, nah, it's kind of lame. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Winning. Sounds of winning. Well, then I was going to play something. First thing that came to my mind was Donald Trump. And I'm like, nah, can't do that. And I said, oh, video games. What do you hear when you win at video games? You hear really cool sounds. So I got one right here. The first Smarty Award of the day is going to go to, believe it or not, Caitlyn Bruce Jenner. I don't know if Bruce is her middle name, or if it's still even a name, or if it was changed, or if it's on the birth certificate or on the Social Security card. I don't know, but I'm giving a Smarty Award today to Caitlyn Jenner. You know what? We'll give the respect to what they want, and we'll call him Caitlyn Jenner. Okay? Caitlyn Jenner, you're getting the Smarty Award. Now, I never thought that I would give Caitlyn Jenner, out of all people, the Smarty Award. However, I did forget that Caitlyn Jenner, I was thinking about crowd cheering too, but I wanted something a little bit funnier. Caitlyn Jenner is a Republican. Let's not forget. The family does love Donald J. Trump. Let's not forget, okay? But Caitlyn Bruce Jenner is now actively exploring a run for California governor as a Republican. And I thought about this, and I said, well, that's genius. That's absolutely genius. Because if you don't vote for him, then you are a bigot, right? And you can get targeted by the LGBTQ community. If you do vote for her, then you get a Republican who backs Donald Trump, who supports Donald Trump's policies. Win-win. And of all places, if you're going to have somebody like Caitlyn Bruce Jenner be a governor, why not be the governor of California? Either way, I don't care really who gets Gavin Newsom out of there. We already know Gavin Newsom has a plan in order to keep the left in power. But I got to be honest with you, it's a smart move. It's a genius move because you kind of back the left into a corner that they can't get out of. So Caitlyn Bruce Jenner, you get the first Smarty Award of the day today, and I think it's a great move. I think it's smart, and it's oh man. Somebody said, Aaron says, oy vey. It's a smart move, whether you agree with it or not. It is a smart move. Now let's follow that right up with another Dum Dum Award, because this should be the Dum Dum Award of the month right here, and we'll see it. It may be, but right back into the swamp donkey Democrat bucket, Chelsea Clinton. Chelsea Clinton. We've never given her the Dum Dum Award of the day. Okay? Before we go on to that, Caterlin said Jenner is not a Trump supporter. Actually, she was. And then she fell off a little bit. But then she got back to being a Trump supporter when Kanye West and Kim Kardashian were supporting him so heavily. He's had some choice words for Donald Trump, but he supports the policies, okay? The dum-dum that I just gave away was to Chelsea Clinton. I've never given it to the donkey from Shrek before. Ever in my life, okay? But Swamp Donkey, get it? Shrek? Anyway, she's getting the Dum Dum Award today because she just started a new podcast. That's right. Chelsea Clinton just started a brand new podcast. I cannot wait to hear what Chelsea Clinton has to say on her podcast. I'm sure it's going to be filled with liberal rhetoric. I'm sure it's going to be filled with liberal lies, but I can't wait to troll the podcast, because the podcast is going to be on all social media. It's going to be wherever she has a podcast, and I cannot wait to hear it, to watch it, to troll it. But here's something that's really funny. If Chelsea Clinton actually wanted a real podcast that would be super successful, it would be a podcast where she's completely 100% upfront and real with everything she's experienced prior to her dad becoming the president, post her dad's rapist presidency, and then pre and post her mom's hacking, lying, email deleting, people that she killed in Benghazi, and all of that, okay? I would love it if Chelsea Clinton actually did like an expose all, like a TMZ Expose All podcast, because she would have content for days. Can you imagine the stories that girl has to tell about her family? Unfortunately, we're not going to see that, okay? We're not going to see that. We're going to see some lame old liberal rhetoric, tired, lying Clinton family member out there making money off the public again, who worships Satan and who lies just like her mother, just like her rapist father. So in that case, I got to say, Chelsea Clinton, not only do you get the dum-dum of the day, but you also get the nobody cares button. But in a way, I kind of do, because I want to troll the podcast. So I'll keep you guys updated on where that podcast lands. I'm sure it'll be on all the liberal platforms, and it'll be on every social media platform. But I got to be honest with you. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to watch it. Can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to troll it. Amen? I know you guys are right there with me, right? Nobody cares. Okay, moving on to somebody who's not a dum-dum, somebody who's the polar opposite of a dum-dum. That is going to be Governor Ron Desantis. This guy has impressed me so very much. He has impressed me so much lately that if President Trump decided not to come back, I would put everything I had in helping this guy. But we all know President Trump is coming back, and I'm pretty positive that Ron DeSantis is going to be the one that runs with President Trump. And he is just gearing up and practicing every single day. But we already know that ABC put out a hit piece on Ron DeSantis. They chopped up the interview and they made it look like Ron DeSantis was giving state money to Publix. And Publix is a chain, obviously, who ended up supporting Ron DeSantis for governor and donated to his campaign. So ABC decided they were going to come up with some hit piece and make it look like Ron DeSantis was returning the favor. So they chopped up the interview. I'm sure you guys all know, but for those who don't know the story, they chopped up the interview to make it look like Ron DeSantis was wrong and they were right. So in President Trump fashion, Ron DeSantis and his team put out the full interview and showed the full conversation back and forth and showed exactly that they were lying. They were spinning a false narrative from the very beginning. They asked a loaded question and then ran with that loaded question, okay, and then tried to smear Ron DeSantis. The problem is, guys, you're messing with the wrong guy, because Ron DeSantis does just what President Trump's doing. And maybe President Trump taught him how to do it, but he's a counterpuncher and he's punching back. He is going to punch back harder than ABC punched at him, and he's going to end up suing them for CBS, CBS. It wasn't ABC, it was CBS. Who cares? They're all the same, wasn't it? Aren't they? CBS, not ABC. Ron DeSantis is going to sue CBS for defamation of character, and he's going to punch back even harder. 60 Minutes on CBS, not ABC. Anyway, let's listen to what Ron DeSantis has to say about the whole thing, shall we?
60 Minutes. I mean, what was put out that interview that you want?
They cut out everything that showed that their narrative was a piece of horse manure. And it shows you how dishonest, these are smear merchants. That's why nobody trusts corporate media. They are a disaster in what they're doing. They knew what they were doing was a lie. I knew what they were doing was a lie. Everybody here knows what they were doing is a lie. They know that we know they're lying, and yet they continue to lie. And they lied and they lied and they lied. We offered them the information, and they declined to interview the key people because they didn't want to let go of the narrative. Well, guess what? There's going to be consequences for that. I know corporate media thinks that they can just run over people. You ain't running over this governor. I'm punching back, and I'm going to continue to do it until these smear merchants are held accountable. The fact of the matter is, Florida has vaccinated 3.5 million senior citizens. We were the first state in the country to put seniors first. The results of our efforts are that seniors are much less likely to be hospitalized for COVID than they were 6 months ago. So our efforts have worked, and particularly in Palm Beach County, We've done over 275,000 seniors just in that one county. That's 75% of all the seniors there. It's been a team effort. We've worked in a lot of different ways, but you can't lie. And you should have not run it. They were warned, and yet they plowed ahead anyways. And so we're going to be doing even more to expose more lies, because there's lies built upon lies on all this. You know, for example, they're attacking Publix. You know it's New York corporate media when you come to Florida and attack Publix. I mean, like, people like, maybe they like their dogs better than Publix, but not much. I mean, it's one of the most popular brands in the state. It would have been malpractice to cut Publix out of assisting. And I know we were able to expand retail sites in Bay. People were very happy. But what they're saying is a total crock, that somehow only Publix was getting it. It is nonsense. And we told them it was that, and they cut it out. They spliced it because they can't handle the truth.
Boom. They can't handle the truth. We warned them. Now, something that you guys are all saying in the comments is something that I noticed too. Right? The Trump hand gestures. If you cover up his face, put your hand over his face, and just watch his lower half, everything he does, how he speaks, how he talks, his hands gestures, you can tell he's been studying President Donald J. Trump. It's either he's been studying President Donald J. Trump, or he is a student of Donald J. Trump. And I think with him living in Florida, with him living so close to Governor Ron DeSantis, I think you're going to see a dynamic duo come out of Florida. And we already know that Florida's law says that social media sites cannot censor anybody from Florida, or else they're going to pay massive fines daily. Both Ron and Don, the Don and Ron show, will be out of Florida. They're going to come out punching so hard after 2022 midterms, nobody's going to know what hit them. Nobody's going to know what hit them. They're going to give them the 1-2 punch. And if you look at their hand gestures, everything, talk about a great upgrade from Mike Pence, huh? From that dirty, lying, fake. Oh, I'm still butthurt. I gotta be honest with you. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm still butthurt. I'm butthurt like a snowflake, like a liberal, over what Mike Pence did. What an upgrade from Mike Pence to Ron DeSantis. I cannot wait for these two to run. I can't wait. I'm like a kid in a candy store. Now, a lot of you folks are still running with that narrative that we're not going to win because they're just going to cheat. They're just going to keep cheating. My statement to that, my response to that is this. I hear what you're saying, and I know your fears are valid. They're not fake fears. Those are valid fears. However, I have been pushing to try to get you to realize since January 6th, when we saw Mike Pence do what he did, that Donald Trump, when he says the best is yet to come, is not lying. He had a plan. And that plan was to A, get rid of all the rhinos, B, reform and take over the Republican Party to make it the Trumplican Party, and C, to make sure that each one of these swing states where they cheated, they'll never be able to cheat again. Look at the meltdown over Georgia. Look at the meltdown right now over Georgia. They are freaking out. They are pulling out everybody they can. They're pulling out Hollywood. They're pulling out their board of directors for all these major corporations like Coca-Cola, Delta, United, Southwest, and all the other morons. They're pulling out everything they can to try to label Georgia as racist bigot. It's racist, it's bigot, it's Jim Crow. It's Jim Crow. Jim Eagle. Whatever. Anyway. Right? They're doing it. But here's the thing. The racist card doesn't work anymore. You used it. You overplayed the racist card during the Donald Trump era. Nobody cares about it anymore. It doesn't even mean that anymore. You've overplayed the bigot card. You can't do that anymore. And they are absolutely freaking out over Georgia because they know when Georgia did what they did, Arizona would follow, Pennsylvania would follow, Wisconsin would follow, and Michigan would follow. And they will never be able to steal the election again. That's why they already went. That's why they're taking the game to Colorado. It's a liberal state that they have no chance of ever turning red anyway. So they don't care where it goes. They don't care that there's no minorities there. They don't care that there's rich white people that live there. They don't care that they're hurting the minority community who they're claiming to stand up for in Georgia. They don't care, because all they want to do is be able to steal the swing states. They're not going to be able to do it. And since they're not going to be able to do it, and you have Ron and Don coming out swinging like Rocky Balboa, what are you going to do? You're going to do nothing but lay down, shut up, and hand over the White House, hand over the Senate, and hand over the House. And then it's payback time. We're going to get rid of the rhinos during the payback, and when the full payback comes, we're getting rid of all of you swamp donkey, career 30 and 40 and 50-year politicians who have no right to be there to begin with. Mark my words. Watch what happens. Speaking of winning, 2 weeks ago, I showed you a picture of Kelly Tshibaka. Kelly Tshibaka is the woman in Alaska, the Republican, who's running against the Rhino senator, who's a Republican, Lisa Murkowski. I told you that she and others were going to be handpicked, backed by President Trump, and then put forward to get rid of these rhinos, right? Well, we already know that Lisa Murkowski voted to impeach President Trump. That's why she's on the target list. She's gone. Well, I am proud and happy to let you guys know that Kelly Tshibaka is now leading already within 2 weeks. She's already leading Lisa Murkowski in the polls by a lot. And that number is only going to continue to be one-sided. You watch what I'm telling you. Watch all these rhino governors. They're gone. The rhino governors, these rhino senators, these rhino House of Representatives, they're gone. Adam Kinzinger, you're gone. Fred Upton, you're gone. Mitch McConnell, by the time your Senate seat is up, or whether you go to wherever you're going in this afterlife, you're gone. All of you rhinos are gone, and Lisa Murkowski is falling in the polls like a rock underwater. And I am so happy to see the plan actually working. Not Kelly Tshibaka, no. Nope, not Kelly Tshibaka, Kelly Tshibaka, Tshibaka, and I'm probably saying that wrong anyway. But Patty Daysted says people are awake, and that's exactly what's happening. The Great Awakening is happening, and we're gonna win. Kelly Tshibaka, I like that. Dude, if she was a liberal, we'd have a lot of fun with that, wouldn't we? But Alaska's speaking up, and I love it. Okay, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. I got a disturbing video to show you here. Now, it's disturbing on two fronts. One, it's a video of Alex Jones. And anytime you show a video of Alex Jones, it's disturbing, right? The frogs are gay! The frogs are gay, and the aliens are coming! I'm telling you, it's another dimension. Anytime you show a video of Alex Jones, it's kind of disturbing. Although I will give it to Alex Jones. He is a fighter, right? Regardless of his content, regardless of his personality, the guy's a fighter. And he's a fighter for America. You got to give him that at least, right? Never been a huge, big fan, but always respected the guy for what he did and what he's attempting to do, okay? I'm going to show you a video that he posted yesterday about these kids who came across the border. They went into the Catholic Church, and then they were shoved in the back of a small SUV, okay? And who knows where they're going. Now, at first, I'm like, wow, this must be really hard for these kids to deal with this. They shouldn't have to deal with this. They just came on a long journey, regardless of if we think they should be here or not. They're kids. But then I saw some of the kids making faces at the cameras, right? Then I saw the mother of the kids not speaking up, just sitting there. But what really got me in this video was the driver of the car that the kids were shoved in the back, and who knows where these kids were going. So, without further ado, let's watch this video of Alex Jones. Again, not a fan, never really have been a fan, but I respect what the guy's doing. Now, I want to give you a viewer discretion advised. There is swearing in this video. So I know that there's kids that watch the video. There are going to be a couple F-bombs, and for that I apologize. But I wanted to show you the video in its entirety without me doing anything with it, because there's a lot of passion in this video, and I wanted you to see it for what it was. So again, I got to give you a warning that there is some language in this video. Don't get mad at me, because I warned you, all right? Not a lot. There's not a lot, just a couple. But I wanted you to see it anyway. Okay, here we go.
You're about to run a human being over. Hey,
You got those children in there.
Who are you?
You got those smuggled children illegally. Hey, we need the police over here. They got a bunch of kids without their car seats.
Here come the kids with the migrants from all over Central America, Honduras, Guatemala, you name it, right? Now keep in mind, once they go into this facility, the Border Patrol completely washes their hands of them. If they test negative, they're marched right down the street to the Catholic Charity. From there, they're given clothes, food, financial assistance. The debit cards that they have over $1,200 per person on them. They're then taken to the McAllen Airport in unmarked vans, and then they're released into the United States to a destination city of their choice.
You got a car seat for them? You got a car seat? That's illegal, bro. Where are you taking these kids? That's illegal.
If you get in a traffic accident, those kids
Where
are
are you
going to get
taking these
hurt.
kids? You have a car seat.
That's illegal.
How is this Christian?
Hey, we need the police over here. They got a bunch of kids without their car seats. You're violating Texas law.
Who is this right here?
Hey,
You have no comment. So
you got those children in there illegally.
You're about to run a human being over. Hey,
You got
who are
those
you?
children in there.
Who are you?
You got those
Who are
smuggled
you?
children illegally.
Who are you? Where are you taking these
You're
children?
smuggling children.
Are you a part of
You got to be legally in that vehicle.
You're not a part of this organization? Who are you? Where are you
We know
taking
you're
these
smuggling
kids?
these kids.
Where
Now
are you
got
taking
them
these
in the back
kids?
of there without
Where
children
are you
seats.
taking these kids? Sir, identify
This is
who
the
you
massive
are.
smuggling.
This is literally human smuggling. These are children. Where are you taking these kids?
And now,
Sir,
they
where
get
are you
beat up in
taking
front.
these kids?
They don't even have car seats.
Sir,
They don't have their seatbelts
their
on.
seatbelts aren't even on.
They
Where
break
are you
all
taking
laws.
these children? Sir, identify yourself. Who are you?
Fucking hit me, I'll tell you right fucking
Who do you work for? Are you a part of this organization?
No, sure. I don't know.
So you don't know where these kids are going?
They're going to check the COVID over there.
No, they came from over there. They're not being checked for COVID. So you don't know who you
I
work
need to
for?
call the police.
We need to call the police right now. I want to know where these kids are going.
You are about.
All right, I'm going to stop this real quick because I just want to break up the video before I play the rest of it. I want to address somebody on here who's USA first, China last. I didn't hate on Alex Jones. You need to go back and watch the video. All right, so don't get all mad at me. Okay, you don't have to say you lost me as a sub because I didn't hate on Alex Jones. I didn't at all. I just said that I've never really been a big fan, but I respected him for always fighting for this country, and he fights for the red, white, and blue. I love that about him. I love him. I didn't hate on him in any way, shape, or form. I think what he's done for this world is great. Number two, if you watch the driver here, you see how suspect the driver is. He's super suspect. He doesn't know how to answer the questions, doesn't know what to say, and the mother sits there like this, not answering anything. Kind of weird, right? But again, I just wanted to address the fact that I didn't hate on Alex Jones. I would never hate on the guy. Met him. Great guy. Great guy. Great guy. I just some of his delivery has worked against him. That's all. That's all I was saying. So anyway, let's go back and finish watching the video, shall we?
State law. You have children.
They're not going there. You're not making any sense, sir. Identify yourself. Who are you?
Kids out of that back, man. If somebody rear ends you, those kids are going to get hurt.
Who are these kids?
I don't know, sir.
Lie them down right there. Get the cops. Where did you get them from?
From the church.
From the church. Where's the church?
Some white church.
Okay, so we just want to make sure that this is all good, okay, sir? I understand you're probably trying to help, at least appearing to, but you literally have a bunch of kids in here, a bunch of minors, all by yourself.
Okay, the police is here.
Okay.
Kids plowed in the back, no seatbelt, no anything. Yeah, they're plowed in the back.
Okay. What's your name, sir? Do you have your ID on you? Or your driver's license?
Your human smuggling's gonna stop, freak.
So you're cool with human smuggling?
Yes,
So you
sir.
don't care about Hispanics?
I'm here talking
Well, I do.
about
I do. These kids are being human trafficked on a daily basis. Don't sit here and tell them what. These people are being human trafficked and raped. They're being raped. They're being raped. They're being human trafficked. They're being human smuggled. How do you know? How do you know? How do I know? It's happening on a daily basis at the southern border. You're doing that? Women are being raped. Go to the southern border.
That's the mom?
Mother, yeah.
Get all sorts of fucked up. Listen, these people do not care at all. Good. Good.
Hold on, mom.
Yes, we do. illegal. How many more?
Hey, dude, get this video right.
Express your opinion like an American, not like an animal.
If I drove around with 3 of my kids in the back of the car, I'd get arrested.
You're scaring them yourself. You're scaring the children.
No.
You're traumatizing them.
None of them not die. Really?
It's horrible. This is ridiculous. This is not how you deal with children. You don't stuff them in the back of a car. What the hell's the matter with you? No car seats. What organization is this? I want to know who the hell this is. Stuffing kids in the back of a car without any seatbelts on. What kind of Catholic organization is this? Jesus stuffs people in the back of a car? You should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you.
That's right. All right, guys. So that, first of all, shout out to Alex Jones. Shout out to Alex Jones for always exposing what's happening in this world, okay? Because if it's anything that man has always done, he's always exposed really bad things that happen in this world. Matter of fact, I think he was even on some island exposing Bill Clinton and other high-profile people for being on some sex island once. So I got to give a big shout out to him for that, okay? And what we just saw was absolutely sickening, was disgusting, and definitely was child trafficking. Definitely was child trafficking. 100%. No doubt about it in my mind. No doubt. And you could hear liberals in the background going, this isn't the right way to do it. This isn't the right way to do it. Excuse me? You just stopped the vehicle from leaving and potentially stopped those kids from going to be sold, raped, trafficked, or whatever. I thought that move by the InfoWars team and what they did was truly amazing. Was truly amazing, and I give them props on that. Lori Pratt is on here, and she said that I would watch you twice a day, or I watched you twice a day until you started body shaming people and making fun of people or something like that. And I just have to address that. This is an interactive show, and I always have to address stuff like that. I'll be the first to body shame myself and call myself obese before I say it to anybody else. And it's called a sense of humor, and we can still have one of those in America. So please don't sue me. All right, but what you just saw right there was an attempt to traffic children, and that is Joe Biden's fault. Everything that you just saw in that video is probably this much of a portion of what's really going on. And we've talked to Ben Berkelman, and we've talked to other people who are on the border, and literally that what we just saw was this compared to what's really going on. Now, you can tell a mother and a father of a child just by the way they react when their children are in situations like that. Now, I get the fact that she supposedly just made some journey and that she's here and doesn't want to upset the apple cart. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. That was not the mother of those children. You can see the way she acted. She had no remorse whatsoever, okay? She had no care in the world that those kids were experiencing something tragic, because that's tragic. What those kids are experiencing right there, they're not there by their fault. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what's going to happen to them. They have no idea the situation or the magnitude of the situation that they're in. And if that was me, I would have gotten my kids out of that vehicle. I would have got them out of that vehicle quick, as soon as I possibly could. But you could tell that those were not her kids based on that right there. All right, I want to move on. I want to get out of that, and I want to go on to something else. Arizona. I told you last week Arizona was going to be the hotbed of the next election integrity. Okay? The next election integrity law was going to be in Arizona after Georgia, and it was going to be the next big hotbed. And they're going to turn their gaze to Arizona next. They already are. Okay? The firm that was picked by the Arizona Senate to do the forensic audit is now being threatened by Democrats, politicians, and organizations with lawsuits. That's right. The company who just got hired to do a forensic audit, basically get hired to do what they do as a living. Their company does this. They're nobodies. I mean, they're somebodies, but in this whole grand scheme of things, they don't have an agenda. They're hired to do a job. And now the left is trying to scare them and threaten them, just like Dominion is doing, by saying they're going to start suing this firm for doing the audit that they're hired to do by the Arizona Senate. My statement to that is, I told you this was going to happen. The Maricopa Board of Supervisors tried everything they could to delay this. tried everything they could to stall this. They tried everything they could to stop this forensic audit from happening. Okay? Even going against judges' orders in one situation. And now they're trying to threaten the company that's going to do the audit with some kind of lawsuit. There must be some really bad stuff. There must be some really, really bad stuff lingering in what we're going to find out in these results. The Democrats and the county's board of supervisors are doing everything in their power to prevent a proper and adequate audit of the real results of the 2020 election. And now that they're trying to threaten them with a lawsuit, this is just the beginning. You think Georgia's bad? Wait for 2 more weeks and watch what happens with Arizona. And then it'll move on to the next state, because they're trying anything they can to stop Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. They're trying anything they can to stop them from stopping the steal. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. But for them to threaten the company who's doing the audit with some kind of a lawsuit, that lets you know everything that you need to know. Now, courage is contagious. We've been saying that, and I'm going to admit I got that from Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon started saying that, and I was like, you know what? Courage is contagious. You're 100% right. There is a woman named Theresa Mullins. Now, Theresa Mullins actually worked for an airline company. She would not state which airline company she worked for, but last year, June of last year, when the airline started making everybody mask up, they told their flight attendants that they had to make every single person on the flight, including children, put masks on or kick them off the flight. Theresa Mullins actually had enough courage and enough patriotism and enough enough of a moral compass to say, I'm not going to do that. My first and foremost job here is to make sure that not only passengers have a safe flight, but have a comfortable flight. And I'm not going to impose some kind of ridiculous mask mandate on people who pay to fly these airlines to have a comfortable flight. We're not going to impose these draconian rules on these people. So she resigned from her job based on that. Okay? Then her airline asked for her back at the beginning of this year. And she said, I will not come back. She goes, as much as I missed the job, as much as I wanted to make the job my career, I'm not going to come back until the mask mandates are gone. Are they gone? The airline said no. So she belongs to a union, a flight attendants union, and she reached out to her union rep and she filed a grievance. She filed a grievance because she wanted to make this a career, and they're making her do this or else they were going to fire her. So she resigned, filed the grievance. The grievance was denied. And so she decided that she was going to do whatever she could do to continue to make ends meet. And she started her own company. Now, her own company, I'm going to show it to you. Here she is. Let's bring her up on camera so you can see her here. This is her right here. There she is, all happy in her flight attendant uniform. And instead, she had enough courage to say, I'm not gonna make people wear a mask. I'm not gonna do that. So she resigned. And we need more flight attendants to do this. We really do. We really need to have them stand up for the United States. So I'm gonna show you the business that she created so that if you want to support it, you can. Let's make this a little bit more legible for you to see and read. All right, here we go. This is her business. It's called Gentle Lady Boutique. Gentle Lady Boutique. There we go. And she started her own company. And I just read about this. So if you want to support her in any way for having courage, just go to her new website, if you're a lady, or if you're a man who wants to be a lady, and maybe check out some of her apparel, her jewelry, her headgear, accessories, corsets, and shoes. Because you know what? She had enough courage to stand up against this fascist, draconian corporate regime that's going on right now, and I want to applaud her for doing that. I also want to let you guys know, see this hat right here? A lot of people have asked about this hat. Well, this hat was sent to me by an amazing family. Even their youngins, their nieces sent me, remember that nice little letter they sent me? So she reached out to me and said that they have 40 of these hats for sale, and they are going to match all of the sales and donate all the money to the fallen officer's wife, Eric Talley, who recently passed away. They're going to donate all the money to his wife and their 7 children who need it. And she gave me an email for you guys to email her if you want to buy this amazing hat that I'm wearing right here. And it is New Horizons Air. So that's NEWHORIZONSAIR. New Horizons Air at gmail.com. Just reach out to them. Let them know that you saw this hat on Live from America. New Horizons Air at gmail.com. Let them know that you would like to purchase this hat, and they're going to match all the money, and they're going to donate it to the fallen officer's wife. And that's why I love this audience so much. You guys are fighters, and you guys work hard for this country. And you all ask, what can I do? Well, this is the kind of stuff that you can do to help. And remember, on JeremyHerrell.com, new shirts will be out this week. The Why Be a Dum Dum When You Can Be a Smarty with the elephant and the donkey, and a couple other pieces of apparel as well. And for all of you who are donors, I sent you an email this morning. Your donor code is, or your discount code is in, and you can use that now for the rest of the month of April. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter on JeremyHerrell.com and become a monthly donor if you can. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's show, Live from America at 11 a.m. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, there are right ways, there are wrong ways, but there's only one Yahweh. So stand up tall, keep your shoulders back, keep your chest out, and keep your head up high, because you are a child of God, and no weapon formed against you will ever prosper. I'll see you guys tonight at 5 p.m. for more Live from America. Thank you so much. Please share the video, pass it around, let your friends know, and I'll see you guys tonight. I appreciate everything that you guys always do. Thank you. See you later.